So I'm taking this fender liner off next. Obviously this is gonna be replaced. I wanna take this off. I got the intercooler coming, so I'm gonna take this plastic piece off and start to take this fender off. I do have a replacement. It's gonna be a little tricky. I might have to take the side skirt off. So I wanna start working on that. I was just looking at here, nothing crazy. Brake pads need to be replaced. Rotors look good. So I was just kind of sidetracked there. And info not needed. Cool, let's work on taking this off and then the fender. All right, so this one's tricky. To get this fender off, there's a nut here and then essentially 2 hidden bolts. And you need to get this side skirt enough off where you could get under it. Like you see, you could access these bolts. You need to like pull it out and down. And to do that, there are bolts underneath, 2, another one, nuts, and yeah, and I also just undid, like basically there's these cover pieces. You need to take the one from the back first. So I'll show you these guys. This actually like clips off. You take the rear out first and then you just pull it out. There's no screws or bolts. And I took the nuts off here so I could like pry this further on. Actually, that is the trick because I need to pry this enough this way to be able to gain access. So I also removed like this plastic piece, but I don't think you need to do that. So another tip is as you remove that, you just pull on this that way because you have to break off the glue, the seam sealer. So you just gently pry in that direction and it'll ultimately go all the way up to the top. And then you put a bunch of tape so you don't scratch anything. And I'm gonna pull it off and I'll show you that right now. So this is a stud, so you need to pull the fender forward, but also you need to undo these 4 plastic pieces. So you could just like basically, because this will be preventing it from going forward. So there's 4 plastic clips. So basically when we install, we're gonna leave it in here. We're gonna put the fender on and then we're gonna clip them from the back. But that is fender off and we have a new fender to go on. Looking a little rough, but don't get discouraged. Everything's perfect under here, no damage. So it's looking rough. The Porsche is looking rough. But once I get that on, I'll have the bracket in, I'll have the plastic bracket in, I could have the headlight on. This is easy to remove. And let's stay positive. yeah, I'm gonna show what I'm trying to represent here. So the idea is to have basically the gaps the same. So what you're looking for is the width, right? This is obviously the untouched fender, and the gap here too. So we're trying to match the other side. Pretty good, pretty good. And the gap here is good too, actually, which is nice. Cool, and this is crazy because these are two different, this is a fender from a different car and it looks beautiful. Like the paint match is actually like perfect. I think Porsche must have resprayed. So I'm just adjusting the headlights. You see where the rubber, there's like a rubber molding and it has like a very even gap alongside all of it. On this side that I just installed, there's the rubber gap, and I already can tell that this needs to go slightly back and to the right a good amount. So there's the molding, and then there's a gap. Here there's like no molding shown, so I know I have to move it that way. The gap here is pretty good, like it's actually very good. So once we put that to our right, then it's gonna be, it has plenty of adjustability, so I don't see an issue with it. What I have to replace is actually this piece here, which is the rear duct shroud, and also this lower piece, which is this shroud. It's this whole thing. So once I take this off, I'll have access to this to pull that off, which is gonna be great. Broken piece that needs to be replaced. So another pro tip, when replacing this upper frame rail, which is metal and then plastic here, and we have damage on the other side, there's a crash sensor back here. So my plan is to disconnect the battery. I'm gonna disconnect the crash sensors. It's just good practice. So the reason why that's actually hard to take off is because the center bore has some corrosion. This car was in the winter. So what I like to do is I actually like to take that off and actually grease it a little. And then the wheel slides on and off very easily. But yeah, that's good to just clean off. All right, so we got the plastic piece off here, the rear duct. We're able to get a lot more room for this, and I'll need 2 people to remove this tube. On both sides, once we remove the tube on both sides, this whole piece is coming off. What I'm gonna work on right now is taking off this intercooler. And I'll take this broken rear duct off to gain access to this. And there are 2 screws over here that are going to be tricky to get, and that'll take the whole intercooler off. So here it is, and the broken side was on the other end. These are the good sides, broken side. So this bracket here, slightly angled this way, so I just got to make it perfectly 90 degrees. Clip installed. Gotta make sure it's on here. It's in the groove, so it'll just basically clip in. One thing I noticed that it's a little bit indented here, and I'm not worried about it because it's not leaking, and that's really the main reason. It's not worth to replace this. I'm not concerned about the performance or any kind of issues that it will pose. Radiator, maybe a little ding here too. Again, no leakage, not worried about it. Not worth it to replace. I did realize how to take this apart. You basically unhook this section, then this drops. You remove a bolt. Here it's gonna pivot, so so I'll be able to basically pivot this lower section out and replace this plastic piece. That's the goal. Same goes here with this upper piece. There's bolts, so once I remove that, I'm able to pivot this whole thing out, so it's gonna be great. When you remove this bolt, it actually slides to the left. When it slides to the left, you're gonna be able to pull it out of its socket. And I already ordered this part, but I'm the new. So yeah, this whole bottom piece, this bottom piece here is what broke and actually pushed into the radiator. That's why I had, like, it was indented a little. And this whole piece is going to be replaced. So just the pro tip, when you're cleaning, just be very careful, like I mentioned before, because if I just take this and go across the fins, I just reduced all that area that it's going to have air going into it and cool it. So just like try to clean it as much as possible so the so it can go through, and so because once you block this, you just have less flow for the or less available heat transfer capability for the radiators. So just, you know, clean all this off and then yeah, even behind it. Something like this is gonna block the radiator cooling capability. So you just wanna clean it as best as possible. And then here actually you can see some dents from the plastic piece that broke. So I'm gonna, you know, this is a little bit more something to look at. I'm actually gonna call this good. Initially I was a little concerned, but of obviously no leaking. But this is actually in this core, this doesn't have cooling. This is just a protector, like a guard. So it's just the end where there is coolant is inside these fins, like these ribs. And it hasn't even bent that, like a little bit over here. But again, it's, you know, holding and no leakage. So like I said, if this was a fin, I'd be more concerned because that's like, you know, but this is actually good. And yeah, it's actually looking pretty good. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. So I did a little bit of straightening with a pick to pull this down. You gotta be extremely careful because it is aluminum. So if aluminum bends and then comes back, you could actually make it worse. So just be careful to be, you know, just bending back kind of like only, I would suggest the lower piece. Here there was like a fin I try to go down, but you're basically gonna create more damage than anything. But yeah, so looks good, looks straight, and sounds satisfied with that. So I bought another headlight that was all mangled up, but it had this piece, and this is a replaceable piece. So that unbolts, you slide that out, and then you put that in. What I'm gonna do here is I'm going to drill through and then use a tap to pull it out because like I can't really grip on anything. So there it is. One socket, the other socket. So we're gonna adjust the bracket, and the idea is to loosen these four bolts, and it slides. This black piece is able to slide. Let me zoom out a little. It's able to slide in any four directions on this plane. So then that's how you adjust. So I know I need to go closer to here. So I'm gonna loosen these, and the first step is to go shift it to the side and see where I'm at. Then the height is also adjustable on the back side and the front side. So I'm going to adjust the height to match, you know, the gaps here. So yeah, again, first step is to get this direction correct, and then second step is to get that direction. So I like to use this tool, not a ratchet for this section, not a ratchet or a power tool, because it's easier to fine adjust. So I'm basically removing, like it was snug, so I have removed okay. Now this bracket, I'm gonna kind of, I know where I was, so I'm going to try to just shift it to the right and see where we're at. Okay. And this is an iterative process, so you got to just keep doing this over and over until you get it. this gap, I can see they're starting to show the weather stripping, which is good. A little bit too tight here. Here it's actually good. I do need to go a little further back. So plan is further back, so kind of like almost like twisted this way. But it's getting better. Still a little bit of a gap here. But definitely getting better into the right direction. Sensor removal and installation into the new upper frame rail piece. You want to make sure the harnesses are away. Right now we're going to be clipping in the crash sensors, which are here to the back. So we're going to move this off to get access. We remove the intercoolers to give us space to put these intake tubes in. We took this rear panel, rear duct off so we can get clearance. We still need to clip this intake tube in. But right now, crash sensors in, then click the tubes in, and then attach. if you don't have the lift the hood latch sensor, that harness we had up here, and I was gonna install the last thing, but you can't do that because you don't have clearance. It actually needs to go behind this tube. So right now I'm fishing it through, and if you do what I did, then you'll have to take this piece off and remove the brackets, or at least so you can have some clearance. It's not fun. I didn't want to dismantle all this stuff, so I decided to go this route. But this is ever more so important on why you need to, when you're removing and installing, just kind of take your time and think. And just like check pictures, take a lot of pictures of harnesses. I did, but I missed putting it behind there when I was installing it. So quick update, a little slowed us down, but not too bad, just a few hours to fix it.